The Texas executive branch. Antonio López de Santa Anna, the Napoleon of the West. The executive branch of government is charged with carrying out or executing the laws, which are adopted by the legislative branch. The executive of a government is the head of government, appointing people to administrative positions in the bureaucracy and ensuring the government runs smoothly. In the United States and the state of Texas, as in many other places, the executive controls the military as the formal commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Sometimes the powers and limits of the executive branch are a bit difficult to discern, especially when individual executives begin expanding their power over time. An example of this from Texas and Mexican history is Antonio López de Santa Anna. He began his career in the military as a teenager, fighting in the Mexican army in the War for Independence from Spain. He served in what would later become Texas, fighting in the Battle of Medina in 1813 to help free Mexico and Texas from Spanish rule. He was cited for bravery, and over the course of his military career rose to prominence and was given command of the Mexican port of Veracruz. The early years of Mexican independence were tumultuous. It was briefly governed as an empire, then became a republic, with competing factions trying to gain control over the government. Santa Anna's allegiance during this time was opportunistic. He initially seemed to back a conservative rebellion, but when the rebellion seemed to be failing, he threw his support to the liberals. And after the liberals put down the rebellion, Santa Anna became the governor of the Mexican state of Veracruz. The governorship of Veracruz was Santa Anna's first experience as an executive head of government, but it wouldn't be his last. In 1833, he was elected president of Mexico. However, many sources say that Santa Anna had little interest in the day-to-day duties of a political executive. During Santa Anna's term, his vice president took a highly active role due to Santa Anna's lack of interest, and implemented a number of sweeping radical reforms, including beginning to dismantle the power of the army and the Catholic Church. After a time, Santa Anna began to take renewed interest in governing, and strengthened the army, but completely disarmed the civilian militia. He then dissolved the Congress in what's known as a self-coup or autogolpe, and formed a new government completely under his control. He revised the constitution of the country and formed a military dictatorship. Santa Anna has become known as the Napoleon of the West for his use of political and military power to create an empire for himself. While many Mexican states revolted against Santa Anna's policies, it was Texas that would be his undoing. The Texans started their Revolutionary War in 1835 and declared independence in March of 1836. Santa Anna marched his armies northward to defeat the rebellion, but his march was hampered by logistical problems, including difficulties with supplies and strategy. His army was underfed and had minimal access to medical care. Despite these challenges, Santa Anna posed a strong military threat to the rebelling Texans. After Santa Anna's decisive victory at the Alamo, where heroes like William Travis, Jim Bowie, and Davy Crockett gave their lives, Santa Anna felt he was on the verge of defeating the Texas rebels, despite his army's beleaguered spirits. But General Sam Houston used the defeat as an opportunity to rally Texas soldiers, and in April of 1836, the Texian army, led by Houston, cavalryman Juan Seguin, and future Texas Vice President Mirabeau Lamar, defeated Santa Anna at San Jacinto. Santa Anna was captured by the Texians when they discovered him dressed as a common soldier trying to escape. Defeated, he was held captive in Texas for some time. Santa Anna was allowed to return to Mexico in 1837, and soon after he found himself in politics again. He served once again in the military against a French invasion, and was later asked to serve another term as president. Santa Anna's political administration soon turned to a dictatorship once more, and he was eventually imprisoned and exiled to Cuba. Later, a desperate Mexican army turned again to Santa Anna for help in the Mexican-American War, but instead of providing the promised help, he simply declared himself president. He eventually gave himself the title of His Most Serene Highness, intending to serve as a dictator for life, but in 1854, Santa Anna was removed from office and exiled again. While most executives who serve as head of the executive branch do not have such a colorful and fascinating career, the history of Antonio López de Santa Anna shows what happens when the executive is allowed to take too much power for himself.